Hi, my name is Shahryar, and I just graduated in May 2023 from Yale US College with a major in urban studies and a minor in arts and humanities. I was diagnosed with ADHD in my first semester of my sophomore year in September 2021. Since then, I've been taking a medication, Ritalin, that helps me focus and executive function, and I've also received accommodations from the college that provided for extra time for exams and assignments. In this time, I also started an ADHD collective and support group at school and found that there was actually a number of us who had similar struggles and that we could all benefit from targeted and dedicated space and programming. I would organize study sessions for the group that would be tailored to our individual needs and learning styles, as well as informal sessions where we could share coping strategies or just hang out. Having ADHD comes with a number of challenges in any learning environment. I have combined type ADHD, which means I exhibit hyperactive symptoms as well as inattentive symptoms. For me, time blindness and executive function have always been key issues. In my first year, I'd keep forgetting I signed up for events. Sometimes I'd even forget that I had class on a particular time on a particular day. Completing assignments was, on time, and continued to be the biggest challenge. I'd often have the most trouble with just getting started, even though I had a pretty solid idea of what I wanted to write. This extended to getting readings done before class, writing emails on time, or even remembering to print out materials. Since I was always rushing, I was also constantly stressed, which made the whole ordeal even worse. After being formally diagnosed with ADHD, I had access to resources and a framework that I could use to organize my life a little better. The biggest change was taking my medication and developing a routine around it. Since I struggled with my executive dysfunction so much, my Ritalin would help me power through some of the hardest tasks of any given day, which were almost the smallest ones. I would organize my time such that I could start my day clearing out admin tasks like emails, then eat, do chores like cleaning my room, and then get down to deep focus work like writing a paper when my medication was peaking and after I'd already conditioned myself into work mode. Another big change was breaking down larger tasks into smaller ones and setting a timer. Often giving myself only 10 minutes to complete something would mean that I'd stop procrastinating. And by queuing up smaller tasks sequentially, I would be able to complete a lot more work in that same time. This is how I managed to write my 12,500 word senior thesis by the deadline. Learning about my diagnosis also meant I had to do a lot of work addressing the shame and stigma around having ADHD, realizing that I wasn't being lazy and working through stereotypes that either I had attached myself to or that had been attached to me by others, allowed me to cultivate a sense of self that was compassionate and forgiving. I stopped using shame or anxiety to motivate myself to do work and instead gave myself incentives that appealed to the part of my brain looking for reward and gratification. Using technology was also key in this process. I started using calendar apps in my second year and it radically transformed my life. Suddenly, I could visualize my entire week and knew exactly when anything was happening. This helped a lot with my object blindness. This shift allowed me to plan out what I needed to do and meant that I stopped procrastinating as much on everything. It also meant that I stopped forgetting things because my calendar app was the first thing I saw each morning. All of this together made me feel like I had a lot more control over my life. Lastly, and most importantly, was leaning into the support of community. Every semester, I would have a conversation with my professors about how to best use my learning accommodations in ways that fit in with their classroom goals. This meant that when I needed extra support, extra time, they were always happy to help and had an idea of what I needed and when. Likewise, for my supervisors at work or even my friends and suitemates when dividing chores. Being honest with people allowed me that they could support me better when I needed it. It also meant that people's expectations were always tailored to my learning or working habits. I ended up graduating with very good grades, a solid set of extracurricular and professional experiences, and most importantly, with a lot of self-compassion and awareness. Having resources and community at hand meant that I was never alone and that I was able to thrive rather than just survive.